Hi, welcome to Driving TV, and I hope you are well. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about things to avoid in the driving test, or I should say the most common mistakes to avoid on the driving test, or I should say the things you should remember not to forget to do in the test. Many learners, they forget the simple things in the test, the things they've been doing all the time, the things their driving instructor reminded them all the time, but now in the test they just forget to do that. So in this video I'm going to share with you few of the things you should remember to do those in the test, things you shouldn't forget to do in the test. Let's start the lesson. Number one is to control your nerves, control your anxiety. Now I know it's easy to say, but if you can't control your nerves and you are going in with the nervousness and the anxiety, most likely you will fail your test, or there is a high risk of you failing. Why? Because you are nervous. When you are nervous, what happens? Your mind goes blank. So you will forget the simple things. Very simple, the things you've been doing with your driving instructor in your driving lesson, you will forget to do that. Simple things, looking at the mirrors, not looking at the blind spot. Why? Because you are nervous. And if you're nervous, like I said, your mind is just going to go blank, and you don't want to do that. So how you control, find a way how you control it, but you have to learn to control your nerves. One of the way I say, I have other videos on the channel where I explain about anxiety and the nerves. If you haven't seen it already, watch that video. I'll leave a link on the description. But one of the way I say is to go with this attitude that if I fail, I fail. It's not end of the world. I could go back and do the test again. That kind of mentality will take away your nervousness. Okay? It will take away your anxiety. Because if you think that I have to pass, with that kind of mentality, you will fail your test because you are giving too much pressure to your mind. You just need to go with an open mind and say, if I fail, it's not end of the world. That kind of mentality will take away the nerve. That's one of the way. But like I said, find a way how to control your nerve, because if you don't, you are risking of failing a driving test. Number two is to forget signaling. Now when I say signaling, many learners, they either fail the test because they didn't signal or they didn't take the signal off. Okay, so this is important. Sometimes you forget to put the signal on. So if you're going left, if you're going right on a roundabout, make sure you know when you need to give signal and make sure you do put the signal on. That's number one. Many learners, they forget to put the signal on. Number two, after signaling, you have made the maneuver. So say you are going left or you're going right. Soon as you've made that, soon as the wheel is straight, make sure the signal goes off. If it doesn't, take it off. Because many learners, they forget to take the signal off, and then they forget, and then they fail because they just keep signaling, and they are failing because they fail to take the signal off. Number three, not checking the mirrors. Many learners, they forget to check the mirrors. So say you want to go left, what do? Top mirror and left mirror. You want to go right, top mirror and right mirror. You want to brake, you look at the mirror first. You want to slow down, you look at the mirror first. When I say mirror, before braking, before slowing down, it's the top mirror. It's the rear view mirror you have on your top. Okay, so before you brake, before you slow down, before you give gas, what do? You always look at the mirror. I'm sure your instructor is keep reminding you to look at the mirror. So make sure in the test you don't forget to look at the mirrors. Use the mirrors whenever you need it. Going left, going right, before braking, before giving gas, before slowing down, before changing gear. Always use the mirror. So don't forget to use the mirror when you need it. Number four is not checking the blind spot. So don't avoid the blind spot. Many learners, they fail because of the blind spot. So before you move off, what do? You look all around and you look at the blind spot. Before changing lane, look at the blind spot. On the roundabout, you need to change lane, look at the blind spot before you change. So before you change any lane and before you move off, make sure you look at the blind spot before you move off. Many learners, they fail because they don't look at the blind spot when it's needed. And mostly is because they're not looking when they are moving off. So they need to move off. They don't look at the blind spot before moving off. Number 5 is confused on roundabouts. Many learners, they know how to use roundabouts, they have it in their mind, they have the knowledge, but for some reason when they go to the test, they just get confused. They just feel that there's something about roundabout they don't feel right. They feel so complex, they feel lost. So make sure you have enough knowledge and make sure you have enough training on roundabouts, and when you do go to roundabouts, don't feel confused. So if you're going left, which lane do you need? If you're going straight, which lane do you need? If you're going right, which lane do you need? Before you come back again, which lane do you need? Don't feel confused. Make sure you know exactly what you need to do. I find many learners, when they go to the test, for some reason, when it comes to roundabout, they just feel confused. They feel that this is too complex. Well, it's not, because you've been training, you know which lane you need, you know when to put the signal on. So when you do go to the roundabouts, don't feel confused. Just do what you know. If you're going straight, which lane do you need? If you're going right, which lane do you need? If you're going left, which lane do you need? When do you put the signal on? So make sure you know. Like I said, many learners, when they go to the test, they have the knowledge, they know how to deal with roundabouts. For some reason, when they go to the test, they just feel confused. And in the confusion, it's just a matter of 2 seconds, they fail the test. They knew they made that mistake, but they failed. So when you enter the roundabout, or as you are approaching a roundabout in the test, don't feel confused. Just know what you need to do and just do the right thing. If you need extra help on learning to drive and passing the driving test, you could check on our online course, which is designed to help you learning to drive and passing the driving test. I will leave a link on the description below. Have a look and read and see if it's for you. Number 6 is changing lane last minute. If you need to change lane for some reason, so say you are driving on the dual carriageway and you need to change lane for some reason, maybe because you've seen a road work or something, or maybe the car in front is too slow. If you need to change lane, make sure you plan yourself and do it early. Don't go last minute and do it last minute, just suddenly, because then you fail your test, okay? So if you see a problem coming up, maybe you are in the left lane and there's some road work coming up, or maybe the car in front is too slow and you know that you are closing the gap too quickly, plan yourself, look at the mirror, put the signal on, look at the blind spot and change lane early. Don't just keep going and close the gap and then suddenly change lane. I find that many learners, they leave it last minute and they change lane last minute, and obviously for that you will fail your test, maybe because you didn't look at the blind spot on time. You need to give other people enough time for you to change lane. Even if there's nobody there, if you do a last minute, you probably will fail, because if there was somebody there, you would have been in a crash. So don't do it last minute if you need to change lane. Do it early, plan early and change lane early. Rolling the car on the hill or move off on a hill. Many learners, when they move off, especially on a hill, make sure that you use your handbrake and use the clutch control if you are doing on a manual, and make sure the car doesn't roll back when you're moving off. Many learners, they fail because as they move off on a hill, the car starts to go back before they move off. It rolls back. That's the whole reason of examiner stopping you on a hill, is to check if you could move off without rolling back. Okay, so make sure before you move off, if the car is on a hill, your car doesn't roll back, because if you do, you will fail, because that's the whole reason of you moving off on a hill. The examiner is testing so the car doesn't roll back when you're moving off. So just to remind, when you stop on a hill, before you move off, if you are driving a manual car, make sure you put the handbrake on, bring the clutch to the biting, feel the biting, take the handbrake off slowly so the car doesn't roll back as you move off. Okay? Driving too fast or too slow. Make sure you know the speed of the road and make sure you know what the speed you should be driving on that road. Okay, don't drive too fast and also don't drive too slow, because you will fail for both. You will fail for going too fast, you will also fail for going too slow. So if the road is 30 and you're doing 32 for too long, you will fail your test for that. If it does go up, make sure you go down quickly, that will be fine. But if you go up and you keep it there for a while, you are speeding, which means you will fail your test for that. Okay, so make sure you know the speed of the road. Also, don't drive too slow. So if you're driving on a national speed limit, which is 60, and you're only driving 30 and it's safe to do 60, you will fail your test for that because it's too slow for the road. Okay, so make sure you know the speed of the road so that you don't go too fast and you're not going too slow. When I say too slow, it doesn't mean to say that the road is dangerous and you have to do 30. So say the road is 30. If it's safe, you do 30. If it's not, maybe a lot of parked cars, people around, children around, which means you can't do 30. So it doesn't mean to say that you're going to drive too slow now. Okay, so don't drive too fast. Also, don't drive too slow. Next is the speed limit. Okay, make sure you know the speed of the road. Okay, so we talked about not too fast, not too slow, obviously, but same time you need to know the speed of the road. Make sure you look at the signs and make sure you know the speed of that road. Many, they don't read the road and they miss the sign what the speed of the road is. Okay, so a road where residential with street lights, it's 30, national speed limit 60, or it could be 70 depending on is it single carriageway or is it dual carriageway. If it's single, it's 60. If it's dual, it's 70. It could be 20. So make sure you know the speed of the road. Don't miss the sign, the road that you're going in. Every time you go to a new road, always look for the sign, because that's where they're going to change, if they're going to change the speed of the road. So make sure you don't miss this sign. Make sure you know the speed of the road. Many learners, they miss that. And last, believe you can. Okay, I've said that on my last video, and I tell you again is that every time I say these kind of videos giving you the reasons you fail and you pass, in the end you have to believe you can. If you believe you can't, obviously you're right, you shouldn't be going to the test. Okay, the reason you are going is because you know you are ready, you know you've had all the lessons you needed, your instructor said you're ready, so now you are going to the test, which means you are ready, you know how to do the test, you know how to drive the car. All you have to do now is believe you can and go and do what you've learned to do, which is to drive the car. Simple. Just go and drive the car the way you've been taught to drive. Your instructor gave you all the things you need. Now just go there and just put that into practice. You go to the test, do your test, drive the way you've been taught to drive, come back, pass, go home. Happy days. I wish you all the best and I hope you pass your test whenever your test is. And please do come back on our channel and let us know. Just write a comment, your journey, so that it helps others who reads your comment. And thank you for watching, and I hope this video helps. If it does, please do make a comment. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so don't miss any of my future videos, and hope to see you again on the next video. Bye for now.